Hope you're enjoying that music. I know Steve Gill is. We are the Fanatical Elfz. This is the Browns post-game show. Yeah, it's another dud. But Steve Gill will tell me and tell all of you it's preseason and not to worry. And I'm trying not to worry. But there were some things that, we saw some things happen today. Some injuries. And the Browns end up losing to the Vikings 27-10. They did score a touchdown early with DTR. DTR started the game. We'll get into some of the details of the game and what Steve saw. Steve, how are you tonight?
I'm good. I'm not panicked like everybody else is. I mean, it's a freaking preseason game, so I'm not worried about it.
Well, no one was playing. And I talked about that in the pregame show that, the list of players that were not playing was ginormous. The entire, no one started. That's going to be a starter pretty much. Well, there could be a few.
I don't know.
But there were some really, some good things. I don't know if you want to touch on those things first, because we did see some things that, players that we've talked about last week and again kind of stepped up. Who were some of those guys?
Well, good to see Nick Harris step in and play center after a very few practices. Jamari Thrash showed his hands.
Yes.
I thought Javon Cohen, the left guard, played very well. Who else? Let's see. Devin Bush.
Mm-hmm.
Also, probably going to start.
Did you mention Chris Williams?
Chris Williams, man. Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas, back-to-back games. So, the backup tight ends, Jordan Akins and the
what's the kid name?
Michelle Padden kid. He had some good catches. Deontay Foreman. You saw what he is going to do.
Wearing 27.
Wearing 27. Bigger, stronger. Nice little screen pass by him. Juked out a few players. Good for a big man. I think Cade York is going to yield a bigger draft pick than Tyler Huntley.
Yes.
That's saying a lot. But I'm it's preseason. I'm not going to worry about it. I really am not.
No, and it is preseason, and we saw all the interviews on the sideline, or I don't know if you saw many of them.
No, I had the Vikings broadcast.
Well, it's too bad for you because they had Deshaun Watson and they had Nick Chubb at the end of the game, smiling in his interview. Nice. I feel he was smiling a lot, and so I suspect that's going to be something we're going to be talking about over the next 2 weeks, because I think we're going to see him back. I don't know if it's going to be week 1, but
week 1 is 3 weeks from tomorrow.
Maybe not week 1, but maybe. He's Batman. Okay, so in this game and just overall, DTR starts the game. The Vikings started by getting did they get an opening touchdown?
Yes.
They did again, but they took it down the field, scored 7-0, hit the Jackson kid for the Vikings. Really nice touchdown catch by him, tiptoed it in. But the Browns came back. They got a touchdown in their second drive, or they're not their first drive, right? Didn't they punt? They did. Okay. So they go down. Yeah, they go down the field, scored. Nice, punched it in. Boy, our offensive line is just, you want to get those, but he squeezed that ball over the line. And it
want to get our offensive starters back.
Yes.
I mean, these were all backups.
And, James Hudson, we talked on the pregame about James Hudson, and Lord help us. And again, they started him at the right tackle position and gave the other guys who all got injured in various parts of the game at the left side. So are they going to be trading for another tackle tomorrow or on Monday?
I've heard that Jedrick Wills will be ready week 1. He's wearing a knee brace.
Okay.
He's doing individual drills. You got 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll play versus Seattle.
Yep.
If I'm guessing, he won't. Just to be on the safe side. But yeah, they're depending on the injuries to Hudson and Hakeem Adidijai.
Yeah. I'm trying to say that name 5 times.
Let's see what happens. If their injuries are substantial, they're going to have to go out and find and we'll know.
Yeah.
The quickness that they traded for Nick Harris after Luke Whippler got hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like 36 hours later and they made a trade. So we'll know the seriousness of the injuries depending on if they can find another backup left tackle.
Well, let me ask you just generally, let's go back just to review the game a little bit. I know it's preseason. I know says it doesn't matter, but early in the game on the defensive side of things, the Browns showed some life on defense, but they were giving up a lot of
first down killed them.
Right.
All the entire first down.
Right. And it was second and 1 or
half. I mean, you're giving up 5, 7, 8 yards on first down.
Right.
Please, stop.
Right. They were really, it was a lot. I'm looking back here. They had 113 rushing yards against us. We had 56. They had 190 passing yards against us, but we had 232 passing yards. But, Huntley and DTR's numbers look decent. Huntley ended up being 14 for 20 for 135, but he threw 2 interceptions.
Yep.
DTR was 13 for 17, 126, 1 interception. I'm trying to remember when he had that interception.
It was a tip ball.
Okay.
In the second quarter.
As far as rushing was concerned, Huntley had a nice little end around. He had 4 rushes for 19 yards. Foreman, 10 carries, 18 yards, so 1.8 yards a carry. His long was just 5 yards. Receiving, again, you talked about Mitchell Payton, 4 catches, 59 yards. He had that long of 30 yards at the beginning of the third quarter, which was nice.
Yeah, it was nice.
The other guy, that Ricci, the fullback / sort of tight end. Yeah, he had 4 catches for 32 yards, but he got dinged up. The Welsh kid from Wyoming, the tight end, he had 2 nice catches for 26 yards. Your buddy Thrash. I want to talk about Thrash because you love this guy, and I just think
I do.
I just think he's an ordinary wide receiver, and he's no better than David Bell. So I thought the play he caught the ball, it was a very good catch. He caught it in a tight window, and then he was able to, scoot around and get a few extra yards. And you talked about it off air that it's those yards after catch are going to be big.
Big time.
Yeah.
Huge.
I mean, you said that he came out of Louisville. You see him making a roster spot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
he's a draft pick, so he'll be your.
So who's
5
out?
or 6.
If you had to pick right now, who's not going to be on that active 53 for wide receivers? So they would keep Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore,
David Bell.
They're going to keep David Bell. Cedric Tillman. Thrash. Oh, I got my son in the background there.
I see that. They're only going to keep 2 tight ends and 2
Akins and
Njoku.
And David Njoku. Okay.
See, you gotta, when you watch these games, you gotta think about the players who are going to start week 1.
Yes.
Amari Cooper. Would Amari Cooper done well today, even with DTR starting?
But then this gets into the whole story about what
Jerry Jeudy had a hell of a scrimmage on Thursday. He was beating everybody for the starters for the Vikings. So just calm down.
I'm calmed down.
Cleveland media is going to go bonkers tomorrow and Monday. Oh my God.
Well, here's the thing it bothers, and it gets back to our conversation Thursday when I was talking about the different perspective. And in a game today with the Chiefs, you saw Patrick Mahomes throwing the back behind the pass out there, throwing passes to Travis Kelce, and they're out there. And our guys are just, not out there. Well, and I don't agree with the philosophy. I talked about it in the pregame. I just think it's.
Well, it got them to 11-6 last year. So
I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not an NFL head coach. And by the way, the head coach of the Vikings.
Yeah, you were a little upset about some things.
And he is going to get his during the season. I mean, 8.5 minutes left. You're running an end around.
Yeah.
3.5 minutes left. You're blitzing a corner. Oh, man, these young head coaches. They don't get it. They want to make their fan base feel better when they lose to Detroit and lose to Green Bay.
Yeah.
Get swept by both.
Yes.
And possibly split with Chicago.
Yeah.
But their fans will go, man, we had a great preseason.
Yeah. Well, it's funny here in Columbus, they were talking about, showing highlights earlier of the Bengals Bears game. And they said, how everybody was disappointed because Cale Williams played, but Joe Burrow didn't. Oh, we really missed that great action. And all I could think of was what you always say. It's preseason. So Caleb Williams did some spectacular things, I suppose, but it was a preseason game, and I think Caleb Williams is going to suck. I'm sorry, I don't think I don't see him being a very good quarterback. I think Chicago's still going to struggle to find that ultimate starter that they've always wanted for years. Who was the guy? Remember the Bears old teams? Not so long ago, who was the starter for a long. On and off for a while for the Bears. Do you know what I'm talking about? He was kind of a hothead. People didn't like him because it wasn't too long ago. I'm trying to think where then he eventually got traded. Maybe to the Broncos. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. You don't know who I'm talking about. I bet you would if I. Okay, never mind. Okay.
Don't pay attention to the Bears.
So, all right. So the Browns now travel out to the Seattle Seahawks, where supposedly Deshaun Watson and some of the starters or all the starters are going to try to play.
I bet you're going to see everybody but the left tackle. You're going to see DeJuan Jones. You're going to see Posick. I mean, I'm just going by what happened last preseason game last year.
Yes.
Where they played half of a quarter with all the starters, well, with the exception of Nick Chubb and Myles Garrett.
Yes.
But a lot of the starters, 75% of the starters, and they played really well. I mean, in Kansas City, it was very impressive.
Yeah.
But, you're going to see Deshaun Watson. You're going to see Elijah Moore. Not going to see Amari Cooper.
Okay.
So I don't know if you're going to see Jerry Jeudy or David Njoku. Probably not David Njoku. I'd hold him back for Dallas.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see Jerry Jeudy. I'd like to see Jerome Ford. Let's see what happens. Let's get this running game going.
Let's pause for a quick commercial. This is the post-game show of the Brownies. We are the Fanatical Elfz Network, part of Fans First. We'll be right back. We're back. Thanks for joining our post-game show. We're talking about how it was just a preseason game and not the panic, Browns fans. It's just preseason. I would, though, like to have seen a little bit more offense, considering that they've now scored 10 points the last 2 preseason games that don't count.
So if they score 14 against Seattle, you'll be thrilled.
Where is that?
Is that what you're telling me?
No, I want 25 points, 24 points, 30 points. Caleb, Chris Williams. Where is Chris Williams from?
I have no idea.
Okay.
But he showed out today. I am very impressed with him.
Well, Isaiah Thomas got another sack.
Yep.
Isaiah McGuire got in there a little bit too. So
Chris Williams got his sack because Michael Hall was double teamed.
Yes. Now, what's going to happen with Michael Hall?
I don't know. Mm-hmm. All depends. September 10th, they're going to release some more a new police report, so we'll find out.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. All right. Is there any sort of court appearance or anything right now pending or out there?
I think that's September 10th.
That's what's
when
September
he has.
10th.
It'll be delayed.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah. So what are you looking forward to this next week? We're gonna see 75% of the offense out there, defense out there.
I'd like to see a little bit more offensive consistency. I'd like to see a little bit more defensive consistency. Yeah. They still can't contain, and that was a problem last year.
Yes.
You got these smaller backs who just, big chunk yardage. Got to stop that. That was their bugaboo last year. I want to stop this year. We'll see what Jim Schwartz does. But and see who plays. I don't know if Zadarius Smith will play. Dalvin Tomlinson probably won't play. They're saving him for week 1.
Shelby Harris played today for a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I'd like to see a little more Mo Hurst. And all I know is Siaki Ika he had a few good plays, and then he got turned around a couple plays.
Okay.
By backup offensive linemen. I mean, totally. I mean, when you got your back to the play, nothing good is going to happen. So, the emergence of Chris Williams might take him out of the rotation or take him off the team. I would feel that he might do a Tommy Togiai and end up on the practice squad. So,
David, thank you for watching us from Cedar Hill, Texas. Appreciate you doing that. We are the Fanatical Elves, and we have a lot of shows here on our network. Steve, you have the Dog Pound South show that will be coming up. You're going to record that tomorrow. Yep. And I was talking about the other guys. Noah Olson does the East Bank Sports Show. Lou Marconi does the Burning River Browns Talk Show. We also have the Stirring the Pot Show with me and him on Monday nights at 9. We got Sam doing the Browns breakdowns, Jarrell with the Dog Food Radio. They both had their shows out earlier in the last day, so they're kicking it there. And we can't forget Rod Bloom with the Browns Blitz. We bring it every week. We've got the pregame, the postgame shows. We're gearing up for the real season right around the corner. It'll be a lot of expectations, a lot of hype coming into that Cowboys game. America's team, or who is America's team? Are they the Cleveland Browns or the Dallas Cowboys? Steve, I had a question for you before we leave. I was on a radio program this morning. I mentioned this before, called Voice Corps. They're the largest, voicecorps.org. They're the biggest radio programming in Central Ohio for those that are blind, that have disabilities and whatnot. And Harold Yarborough, he has a sports show, one of the longest sports shows in Central Ohio. And he and his counterparts come on Saturday mornings and have this talk radio on sports. And so we were chatting. He's a big Browns fan. And we started talking a little bit about Deshaun Watson. And I mentioned this on the pregame show, just a little bit about what he had asked me, because he has the same question a lot of us have. And we've talked about, you and I have talked about this with Deshaun, and, what should our expectations be? Is he going to return to that form of 2019, 2020? I said, no, I don't think he is. I think he's still got a lot of mental things that are going on in his head. And not that I think he can still be a very good quarterback, and he will be a good quarterback, But then I also was talking to Harold about how we don't need him to be maybe that same quarterback back in 2019 or 2020. He can manage games and do all those other things. That's enough. But the conversation was really around Deshaun's mental stability and how Harold, who's a lifelong fan, but this is Steve, this is a common take, and I don't disagree with it. I know you do, but until we can see him go out there, it just seems like there's moments when he's playing that he doesn't seem what we remember him being in the past. He might seem unsettled or unrattled or whatever. He talks a good game, but let's see what he does this season. Obviously, we need him to stay healthy. I imagine you disagree with my take on this, but it is a common question that comes up a lot about Deshaun. Well, how do you think Deshaun's going to do this year? How do you think Deshaun's going to do? That's my question to you.
Oh, wow.
Sorry for that long explanation.
Did you leave breadcrumbs for this question?
Right.
So we can get back?
What was the name of the guy that I did the interview with this morning?
I have no idea.
Harold Yarborough, great guy.
Nicky Knack, give the dog a bone. Okay.
So what do you think?
If he is like, everybody talks about 2020.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson. Very bad team. I take the 2018, 2019 Deshaun Watson. I don't have any problems with his mental capacity at this point.
Okay.
And, I'm only looking at this, as a guy who, not as a Browns fan, but a guy who has a psychology degree from Vanderbilt University.
Yes.
Who is extensively trained in counseling.
Yes.
I look at him and I see a guy who is determined to prove people wrong. That's what I see.
Okay. So the follow-up to that is he's determined to do that.
Yeah.
But with that expectation, do you think that he can do that?
Yes.
Okay. Because I haven't seen it yet.
Traditionally, I keep telling people, he's a slow starter, not for the season, for every game. But when it comes down to the third and fourth quarter, the guy shines.
Okay.
And especially the fourth quarter, especially in the red zone. The guy knows how to win. Yeah. And that takes more mental dexterity than anything else. Yeah. When it's on the line, he comes through. Everybody talks about that 14 for 14 in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
Going midway third quarter, he was 8 for 21.
Yeah. Let me ask you this.
Let me 8 for 21. And what does he do? He turned it on in the fourth quarter. Remember that run to get him down close to field goal range? And he had a bad ankle and a bad shoulder.
Do you think he didn't know?
Everybody calm down.
After that Ravens game, you think he legitimately didn't know that he had what was going to happen to him, because the next day they announced he was out for the season, right?
Yeah, fractured bone in his
because Nathan Zagura,
I don't think he knew.
Color guy, the color commentator here for the Browns, Nathan Zagura, he said that he talked to Deshaun after that game, and Deshaun said he was back. Like Deshaun described himself as being back. But if he's so beat up and injured, I don't know. We need a healthy Deshaun. That would be
He was running on adrenaline. He had a bad ankle. You could see he had a bad ankle, and he had it the entire game.
Yeah.
Yet he turned it on in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
He won that game.
Yeah.
He really did win that game.
Yeah. I have to go back and watch it again. See if I agree.
You should. I've watched it 3 times.
Oh, let's look here. Yeah, thanks, Rusty. He's contributing to our show here.
Yeah.
He just posted and that's very true.
No, he's not a slow finisher. Rusty, go back, find my article on Fans First Sports Network. I point out all the stats. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. for Deshaun Watson. I did an extensive article on it.
Yeah.
You can find it. It's about 3 or 4 months old. The guy is a finisher.
Okay, but what I think, Rusty, thanks for sharing your comment here. I think he's saying one playoff game. And that's what I think he's referring to, in my opinion.
Oh, that's right. Who was his head coach? Bill
See now
O'Brien?
you're gonna. So if he, so we're gonna blame it on Kevin. We're gonna blame it on Kevin Stefanski then somehow.
No,
sure?
I'm not blaming anything on Kevin Stefanski. Let's see what happens. Okay?
Let's see what happens.
Just see what happens.
Now, does he have?
But
1
I have
year?
confidence.
He has 2 more years on his contract after this, right?
Who?
Deshaun.
2027 right now.
Through 2027. So
he signed through 2027.
So 3 more years.
Yeah.
Well, he's going into his 3rd year. I thought the contract was 5 years.
They extended him last year.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, they restructured last year.
Okay. I was saying to the guys earlier, I said, well, what if Dak Prescott is out there? He played through the season.
Oh, stop. All right, let's play the music.
Yeah. All right, folks.
Good night, everybody.
Hey, really appreciate everybody tuning in here to our post-game show. Yes, Steve wants me to play the music. I think we're done.
I think Nick Mullins might be available.
Yeah, well.
This game, so you never know.
We've had a lot of fun.
As my wife just yelled from the other room, it's freaking practice.
It's freaking thanks to everybody who contributed tonight. Thanks for watching us here on YouTube, on Facebook, on what else are we on? Twitter, X. I looked again. Whoever was sharing, there's some organization. I want to get their name right because I want to give them props. Before we turn the music on, there's a group, and probably I don't know if Rusty's watching from this other group, but they let me find them because I don't want to give them a head. So if you're watching, whoever runs this site, they reshared. We're already up to almost 2,000 plays on our show right now on Facebook because there's this group, and they let me find them. No, I don't want to do that. Hold on. Doesn't want me to. Well, whoever it is, we want to thank you. There's somebody that shares, and I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to pull that up so I can see it.
Thank you, whoever you are.
Yeah, no, definitely. We want to thank you. We also want to throw out a group that I buy coffee from called Hemisphere Coffee Roasters, and they're a local group here out of Mechanicsburg, Ohio, and we're going to be setting some things up with them where we can promote their coffee, which is the most amazing coffee on the face of the planet. They're going to give us a link that we can share with all of you who are watching or listening to our shows and our podcasts, where then if you decide you want to go buy some of this amazing coffee from Hemisphere Coffee Roasters, you'll get a 15% discount. Ooh. And we would thank you for that. So I know, Steve Gill, though, you have some coffee that you sell.
My wife and I used to own a coffee shop. So I am a coffee snob. I'd like to try this, and I'll give you my honest opinion.
Well, yes. Well, I want to find this. Well, see if I emailed him earlier tonight just to see, because he had reached out to us and he was going to give us an affiliate link. No, I don't have a response yet, but when he does respond, I'll let everybody know.
Okay.
All right, folks. Good night. Thanks for staying with us as we ramble on. See you, Steve.
See you, John.
Go Brownies.
Go Browns.
Play us out with the violin, Steve.
I'd rather do the cello.
Cello?